Hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and I'll be your guide today as we dive into the teaching approach Explicit Direct Instruction, or EDI for short. Now, I'm not the expert, that's where our two speakers come in, Joel Soto and John Hollingsworth. In today's episode, we dive into the power of pair share and its impact on student learning. Have you ever been in a classroom where only a few students actively participate while others remain silent? What if there was a strategy that ensured every student engaged, processed information, and gained confidence in their learning? Get ready for an insightful discussion filled with practical tips to make every student a successful learner.
Here's the rule: pair share every question for the rest of your career.
I don't know about that. It seems like sometimes they kind of get out of control when we do pair share and stuff.
Well, there's such a benefit for the students. You've probably read the research on wait time. Just wait time, not calling the names too quickly, allows every student to think of an answer and helps everybody learn. When you call the students very quickly, the other students don't have processing time. So the pair share takes that wait time to the next level. It's not just you had time to think about it. You turned to your partner and you actually said the answer. And you actually heard your partner tell you an answer, and then maybe you had a little discussion about it. And then, of course, also in EDI, we use in explicit direct instruction, we use sentence frames. So we're going to use the academic language. It's not just I wrote A or the answer is A. You're going to have something like the perimeter of the polygon is the character trait in the passage, something like that.
Can you share a little bit about sentence frames and how we do that with pair share?
Well, it's not just, the sentence frame is to have you use the new vocabulary, not just hear it or see it on the screen, but you're actually speaking. It's starting to become part of your productive vocabulary. But Joel, think about the number of English learners we have in classrooms. Yeah. And teachers say, how can we do language objectives? I said, this is how you do it. You have the students talk with their partner. It's not that they're speaking in English. They're speaking with academic and they're practicing new language, new sentence structures and stuff. So let's think of this pair share also as a super support for EL. You're actually implementing language objectives.
I love to hear just the kiddos talking. I like when kiddos are talking. It's that academic discourse that needs to happen in the classroom. And when they say the sentence frames, I feel like they sound smarter. And I know that's kind of silly to say, but I feel like I'm doing a really good job when I hear them rehearsing that academic language.
Well, I've actually had teachers say that to me. They said, wow, our students sound like academic scholars today. They're so surprised. I think my best sentence frame ever was a high school frame. The Duke, there was a Duke in the story. The Duke's character trait in the dramatic monologue is blank because. Yeah. That was the one where teachers, they said, listen to our students. We never heard them sound like that before. So it works at every place, even with younger students, when you say the noun is, the character is, and not just say it's Cinderella. Oh, Joel, also for EL, no pronouns. It's not it's Cinderella. It's the character is Cinderella.
Right. Now, it's never it's for, or just the number 4, or yes or no. There's always.
This is a little hint for English learners. Don't allow pronouns because you want them to say the academic vocabulary. Well, not just English learners, but anybody you want to use it. English learners will also use pronouns when they don't understand the vocabulary to use. Just start using it or the thing or something like that. So, but thinking about a couple of the reasons, I think I already gave you the best reason is that when you pair share, it's not just the 3 students you call the answer. Every student answers every question for the whole year. As they talk with their partners are actually doing it.
Okay, everyone so let me picture this in my head, because a lot of times when we're working with our teachers, it seems like we have groups of 4 and 5, and they're so can we pair share? What do you feel about pair sharing with the group, like in pair share with your table partners, or pair share in that group of 4 or 5 students? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the problem with that is you end up with one student kind of does the talking and the other students over time don't. The absolute best is in pairs. Now, Joel, it's not just that they're in pairs, you're queuing. Okay, who's the character in the passage? I want the left partner to start. Okay, this time I want the right partner to go first. Left partner, then right partner. Okay, ready, switch. I want the other partner. So you're actually queuing both partners to talk and you're listening for it. Everybody's going to participate. So 2 is the best because everyone's going to speak and everybody's going to listen.
Right, and you're talking about labeled examples. I kind of like, I know we go like A and B, but I kind of like strawberries and bananas and fun things like that. but labeled partners is what you're saying to us, right?
Okay, chips and salsa.
Mhm.
Chips tell salsa. Cats tell dogs. Window partner tell door partner, just the side of the room. Schools have colors, so like they have a yellow and green or whatever their colors on. And I've seen the teachers put little dots on the desk with the colors. And says, okay, yellow tell green, green tell yellow. So it doesn't matter. It's just the idea that you're cueing who goes first. It makes it even better.
Now, you've given us some really good ideas for ParaShare. But sometimes a lot of schools we work with, they have a lot of kids who I don't want to say naughty, but maybe rambunctious a little bit. How do you use ParaShare to help with discipline problem? Because it feels like it would be the opposite, right? Because the kids are kind of doing their own thing and I'm doing the ParaShare. It feels like it's going to have a negative impact. Can you share a couple of thoughts on how it helps with discipline?
We're talking about two things here. We're talking about kind of like discipline, and then the other one is getting all students to participate.
Okay.
So let's just talk about the first one. You need strategic pairs. You can't have two very low students together or the two highest students together. The research is actually student 1 with 11, 2 with 12, 3 with 13. That's way too complicated. But just mix up the levels. Mix up the levels. Now, if you have a hot spot, you need to swap the partners. Okay, I want this partner. You're going to move over here and you're going to move over there. And that kind of stops it. But Joel, I saw one time the class was kind of out of control and the principal was standing in the back of the room. He said, all the left partners stand up, grab your book, move over 2 desks and sit down. Okay, teacher, start. The whole dynamic of the class was completely changed. Everyone had a new partner and wow, it just went from out of control to absolute in control. And so this is one of our rules to rotate the pairs every once in a while. So strategic pairs, not the two lowest, the other the two highest, and then be ready to rotate. I don't have the research, but maybe once a quarter or once a month or whatever it is.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know we're running a little bit out of time though, but one last question regarding ParaShare. You said it, but I want to make sure I completely understand. Let's say, and I know we shouldn't rank students, but we know students' abilities based on assessment. So if I have a number 1 student and I have 20 kids in my class, did you say to pair them with the number 20 student or don't pair them with the number 20 student? Because I feel like I want my best student to help my, I don't want to say worst student, but my lowest student, right?
Well, I think the idea is not to put the very highest and the very lowest student together. You're supposed to match in the middle. So the lowest student would pick somebody in the middle, the highest student would pick someone in the middle, so that you're not getting two extremes together. Although I have seen it work. I've seen classrooms where the very high students are actually very purposely helping low students. But I think generally it's the lowest should be somebody in the middle and the highest should be kind of somebody in the middle also.
Okay. All right. Because room to grow, room to have that academic discussion. And I know a lot of our teachers like to pair. Maybe we have a non-English speaker, and then sometimes they use the students to help translate a little bit. I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, that's one more strategic pairing you can do. If you have beginning English learners, pair them with someone who can translate. Now, you want them to do the academic language during the key phrases, the sentence frames, but let them ParaShare processes in Spanish. Okay, and so that's the idea. So they can still participate in the lesson, but they're getting English at the same time through the sentence frames, through the complete sentences, so they're doing both.
Okay, so I'm a brand new teacher, and I'm listening to this podcast for the first time. I'm listening about explicit direct instruction. If I want to start ParaShare in my classroom today, as I'm driving to work or tomorrow, whatever it happens to be, can you give us some advice on how to get started with ParaShare, what to look for, what to listen for in ParaShare? I mean, I just don't want to get out of hand, and I'm a little bit nervous.
Well, actually, what we do is we actually train the students to ParaShare. So a very easy way is we start with, so you just start with a whiteboard. And you say, write your name on your whiteboard, everybody. Now turn to your partner and say, my name is. We're going to have the left partner go first. Let's have all the left partners talk. Let's have all the right partners. And you kind of cue them. Write your favorite color on your whiteboard. Now turn to your partner here. My favorite color is. Let's have all the left partners, all the right partners. So spend some time training. I've done that all the way into high school. And we're just going to practice. And you have to cue the students. I want you to turn and look at your partner. And I don't know if you've heard of active listening. You're actually listening to your partner and participating. You're not just sitting there and talking in space. So training really works. Training works.
That's fantastic. And what's a good cue to know when ParaShare is over? When do I know? Do I wait for everybody to finish talking? What's some thoughts or ideas you have for us?
Well, it took us a while, but we kind of figured out if you listen carefully to the noise level, you'll hear that noise level come up and it'll start to drop. and then it'll start to go up again. Well, when the noise level starts to drop, I mean, the discussions with the students starts to drop, they're finished. The pair share is done. And then while they're just sitting there, they maybe start talking about something else, maybe off task or just some general stuff. So you can't time it perfectly, but try to listen for that crescendo and then the drop and try to pull it right then.
All right. And then closing here, if I'm a principal, if I'm an administrator and I'm running a workshop, I'm doing my own thing. Let me ask you this, John, do you use whiteboards when you're teaching teachers? And is it the exact same rules that you have with students and teachers or other adults? How does that work?
Well, Joel, it may have been 15 years ago, and I thought, why aren't I using my own strategies in my own trainings? And I handed out the whiteboards, and we're going to fill out whiteboards. We're going to talk to our partners. We're going to, respond with non-volunteers. I tell you, it works. The main thing it does is it breaks up the too much talking. You can't just give a training, even to adults, and talk for 30 minutes. Every couple of minutes, the audience needs to do something. They need to explain to their partner, fill out an answer on a whiteboard, discuss, be ready to be called out by me to give a response to the whole class, to the whole training session. So you need to do this in training also.
Oh, that's really good. I know I was listening to you talk to one of the schools you're working with, and you're giving a keynote address along with Dr. Sylvia. And one of the things you said, okay, well, make sure there's 600 whiteboards for the teachers. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's absolutely fantastic. All right, we'll tell you what, John, we're hitting the end of our time here. Is there any last thoughts or ideas that you have with PairShare to help inspire or encourage our wonderful teachers?
Well, you may have heard the phrase, the brain that's processing is the brain that's learning. You're not processing that much while you're sitting there listening to a lecture, but you're really processing the information after you've written an answer and you explain to your partner how you came up with the answer, what the answer means. So I want you to think of this. Students, their brains are learning during pair shares. You just call it a cognitive strategy if you want. Sometimes I do a pair share without even calling people to report out. So I just want you to talk about the information and think about it. Look at a map, point to a diagram, some text. So let's call pair shares a second benefit of them is the cognitive strategy. Besides you making instructional decisions as a teacher, the students are actually learning. So keep those up to help the students process information.
That's wonderful.
And that wraps up another episode. We've explored the power of PairShare and how it transforms classroom engagement and builds academic discourse. Remember, when students talk, they learn. Whether you're a new teacher or a seasoned educator, implementing PairShare can make a huge impact. So give it a try, fine-tune your approach, and watch your students thrive. We encourage you to stay tuned for future episodes where we'll continue exploring the powerful strategies of EDI. Thanks for tuning in. Keep inspiring, keep teaching, and we'll see you next time.